To order at 5 p.m. on June 15th, 2026. Seated for tonight's meeting will be uh, Mike Clarizio, Joe Hartz, myself, Tom Mueller, and online Bill Guerrera. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah.
Okay, new business. Connecticut Municipal Development Authority, CMDA, text amendment to regulations as well as state mandated changes based on Public Act PA 25-01. This includes section 4.1, sections 4.2, residential uses in downtown development district, residential uses in general commercial zone, section 5.3, table of bulk regulation, section 13.2, municipal dwelling uses, 13.3, housing for elderly and seniors, section 13.8, mixed-use residential units, and a new section 13.14, zoning changes mandated by Public Act 25-1. Applicant is the town of Thomas.
So,
Okay, I guess really our task tonight is to decide whether to accept the application, and if so, to set the public hearing.
Hey, Tom, this is Bill Guerrera.
I know,
Do you have a quorum?
we do have a quorum, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you
Yeah,
then.
we
Okay, so you don't have to seat me. That's
can
great.
just-
Okay.
got 5 now. Okay,
But Patrick isn't seated yet, right?
well, I just said I could see them.
I understand, but I was wondering if Bill was gonna drop off, and if so, we would have to see Patrick first.
Oh, Bill doesn't have to drop off, Bill's been seated.
I was just wondering where his questioning was going to ask him about it.
I'm just gonna be the only thing is because I know some of the commissioners don't really know about the Connecticut Municipal Development Authority. The director is online. I think it'd be good if you explained a little bit of this to the rest of the
Okay,
team.
sure.
Is that all right with everyone?
We'll take an overview, yeah.
Hey everyone, this is David Course. Happy to do so. I'm the executive director of the Municipal Development Authority. So we are a quasi-public authority established by the state, designed to help towns and cities achieve their development objectives in their downtowns or the areas around their train stations. And so Thomaston opted in to work with us through a resolution of the local legislative body. And once that happens, we then take a look at the zoning within the downtown area and make a determination whether or not we think it is likely to result in the type of development, mixed use, sidewalk oriented, multifamily that the town is looking to achieve. And in the case of Thomaston zoning, after having done the review, we thought it was really on the right track, but we had some modest recommendations related to the general commercial zone that we thought would encourage the type of development that was more in keeping with the existing historic fabric. And so, for example, we looked at, one of the sites, the site where the fire was recently, and made sure that the zoning would allow that type of building to be built to replace it, rather than a more suburban setback model, which works elsewhere in the community but may not be what's right for downtown. And so we provided Tony and the mayor's office, the first selectman's office, with some recommendations, and that is part of what you have before you. If these recommendations are approved, then we are in a position to certify the zoning, which would enable us to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the mayor to establish a development district. And then any developer or the town for projects within that development district would be eligible to seek our financial support. And so we have a $115 million capital authorization from the state that we can use to invest in infrastructure projects or provide gap financing for developers looking to build within your zoning. And so in many instances, a developer might get a project approved that's in accordance with your zoning, but it still doesn't pencil out with bank financing and equity. And so we can provide low interest loans to help bring the projects to fruition that realize your objectives as a community for your downtown revitalization. So we're looking forward to a very long-term relationship with the community, and one in which we can make significant investments in your downtown. But part of that process is zoning that enables mixed use, multifamily, and pedestrian oriented walkable fabric like you have in the core of your downtown. And these recommendations, what the text changes that you have before you are a combination of, some of what we provided and some of what Tony came up with that, he thought would work for your community. Happy to answer any questions about CMDA and how we operate, but looking forward to a long and prosperous relationship with the town.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Tom, it's Bill. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Um, so I see some green cutouts, crossouts. You guys are going too fast on the scrolling.
Then I just wanted to get back to the top.
Okay. So how do these changes come about? Or is it because of the input you received from myself and others, or is this your own, Tony? Tony, your own changes?
Um, so I mean, they're really kind of what CMDA recommended. These green ones are some of the things that like you can't have a minimum square footage like in these things, so that's not allowed. So you now allowed in our regulations we say you have to have a minimum floor area of 750 feet. That's not allowed. So that's just a lot of them, a few of the minor things I changed because we would have to change them and then they're not allowed. So that's why they've changed them like for housing, things like that. And then here's the first example. CMDA recommended that motor vehicle repair we do not allow in the um, downtown development district. So that's one of the recommendations. So, and
Well,
then
the comment that I had made about 50 feet in terms of development potential, is that something that is going to get amended or changed? I don't think 50 feet is in character with the community.
you're saying 50 feet in height?
Yes.
So you think it's too high?
Well, what other building downtown is over 50 feet besides the town hall and the GDC?
I don't.
So I can just speak a little bit to the recommendation there. So that's basically a four-story building, ground floor commercial with three potential residential floors above. We typically consider, a commercial floor to be 15 feet, floor to ceiling height, residential floor to be 10. So 15, 25, 35, 45. And four stories, seem to be consistent with some of the existing fabric. Granted, that is not, consistently what exists throughout the downtown. But it didn't seem out of keeping. A lot of communities that we work with do 60 feet or 75 feet or some even more. And so this is on the kind of lower end of what makes a mixed use building financially feasible. But that would be basically a four-story building.
And where would the people be parking if we're a mixed use and you're speaking about apartments upstairs?
Yeah, so you still have a parking requirement in your zoning, and so the developer would have to incorporate that into their site plan.
So the changes that the state of Connecticut has made with respect to um, habitational land use, do they take precedence over the town when it comes to these, what we're trying to do here?
So there's two different things at play here, and I'll try not to conflate them. So some of what you see here related to side yards and setbacks, those are our recommendations from CMDA based on what already exists in downtown. Most of the buildings already are built up to the sidewalk. They don't have a 30-foot setback. Many of them have zero lot lines, not a 10-foot side yard. They are coverage, much higher than 30%. And so this was really around being consistent with existing fabric and enabling modest infill development that would be in keeping with the downtown. Separate from this and what Tony has down in the last section, there are several requirements that come out of state law that have nothing to do with us as an organization. But I think Tony's right in trying to tackle these things simultaneously. But there are new mandates from the state related to removing parking requirements for developments of 16 or fewer housing units, allowing 2 to 9 units as of right in commercial zones. And that's what you see here in this section. These are not the recommendations from us, but those are a result of state law that goes into effect on July 1st.
That building where Mona Lisa was in, I believe that's 3 floors of residential plus the commercial, so that's probably somewhere near 50 foot right there.
Billy, you still there?
Anything else, Bill?
Yes, so if I may, I was the chairman of the commission back when the downtown development district was created. Okay. And one of the things that we had public hearings about with respect to uh, what we want the downtown to look like. At that time, there was a proposal from CVS to replace our grocery store downtown. And we were concerned that what you would have would be a parking lot in the front and the store in the rear. And that really wouldn't be conducive to traffic flow, pedestrian flow, and the ambiance of the community downtown. So we wanted to keep the storefronts on the sidewalk and parking in the rear and not parking in the front. So is that still consistent with what's being proposed?
Oh yes, we completely agree with you 100%. And I do think that there is some risk in the current zoning of having buildings that are set back behind parking with the 30-foot front yard setback. And what we're recommending is some changes so that the buildings, any infill buildings that were built, are more consistent with your existing fabric rather than being set back behind parking. Completely agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification.
Yep, happy to do so.
Information. Okay.
Oh,
That's all I have, Tom. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Patrick, anything? Mike,
Sound good.
Joe?
I don't have any comments.
Okay, I don't have any more at this point either. Rich, do you have anything you want to add at this point in the meeting?
No, I just think, I think, as we think about, I guess one thing I wanted to share, I understand we're talking about a height difference here when we talk about what's downtown. I have spoken with 2 different developers that have some thoughts about developing where Patty's is. And basically they wanted 6 chunks of property. They wanted all of that, right? To make it financially viable for them, they needed that extra floor. So, they at least would have wanted to discuss it if they could have made the deal work, which they did not. But there is a certain amount of return on investment that's required for a developer to walk in and do something. And that extra height helps bring that ROI to life.
Did you say 6 chunks?
Yeah,
What, how do you get, what are you counting for 6? Just,
so, if you think about the parking lot that's behind there, so go down Park Street.
yes.
Start from the end of that parking lot and come all the way up. You take all the properties that are on Main Street, including the old bank, that's the law office. There's 6 pieces right there.
Okay.
That's the size that a developer would like to see to come in and have a return on investment. And it was multi-use, it was, you know, it would have been storefronts on the first floor, parking in the back, where that parking lot was, probably under a set of floors that were apartments.
So basically, Joe, these properties, right, Rich?
Yep.
Yeah, basically these.
You mean?
So
where-
Petty's and through Park Street.
So
Just wanted to show you because I know you were asking.
So they want to put apartments over the parking lot that's there?
yeah, they would have what they would have referred to as underground parking.
Yes,
Which is not, don't think of it necessarily as,
down underground,
yeah,
it's under parking.
under, yeah. In the back, not, and the front would stay. Where we have storefronts today is where they would have storefronts.
How about the dentist that's back there at the,
That's one of the 6.
that's one of the 6.
This was just a proposal that, you know, they brought and we were sort of kicking around ideas. And I was trying to get an understanding of what makes their economics, right? And that's where we sort of netted out.
I'm assuming the Dry Metal 2 building's got to be pretty tall at the front. It's probably 40 feet, 50 feet. I don't know. You know, so
Where the second floor is, yeah.
yeah, it's really tall.
At least 40 feet,
Oh,
if
yeah.
not higher.
So just an example of something in the downtown that's probably already over the 40 feet.
It's way over 40.
Yeah. So
Isn't the building where Black Rock Tavern is also over?
yeah, it's got it. Yeah.
So
They're probably most of them. Yeah.
That's only 2 stories.
Yeah.
Well, if all those people that are already in those office spaces or whatever, are they gonna be guaranteed some type of?
this project's not going forward.
Okay.
They couldn't mobilize 6 different sellers. They couldn't engage 6 different sellers to sign on in a way that would be meaningful. So I'm just saying, I'm sharing that knowledge because even though it's not going forward, it's important to understand where it stands in terms of return on investment for a developer to come in to do something. So it does need a certain type of footprint to make that work. No one's gonna come in and take just the footprint of values.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they would come in and consider multiple properties that are on the street, start to look at that. But, you know, I don't have anybody that we're talking to right now. Even though I reached out to a bunch.
Even the property where the parking lot is, to develop that into apartments. Is that all owned by the same people?
The parking lot and the building that's would be on the west side of that parking lot is owned by the same person. Yeah, together. It's 14 park and other things.
Yeah, it's 14. Yep. So Sue McDonald owns that. Mark owns 22 and Darlene owns 30. Front as in this way.
Main
It's
Street.
on Main Street.
Oh yeah, that's right. Word's killing, unskilling,
Yes,
obviously.
I didn't mean to confuse the conversation.
You
I
did.
just was trying to share a story about what I learned in talking to developers in terms of how they see a return on investment.
Oh, absolutely.
That extra floor would be very meaningful.
So I think we can just set the public hearing, I guess, after all that explanation and go from there.
Okay, first question, do we want to accept this application?
Yes, I would make a motion to accept this application.
Okay, do we have a second? Hey, Mike seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes unanimous. Next question, when do we want the public hearing? My understanding is this is fairly time sensitive.
Like, it's quick.
I would propose doing it before the July 1st meeting, another special meeting, if that's agreeable.
Pick a date. Well, you either got the 22nd or the 29th.
Well, the earliest we could do it because we have to send out the notice would be the 29th is the earliest.
Would be what?
29th would be the early. We should just do it the first. It's not.
We can't do a special meeting with 7 days notice?
No, it needs to be between 10 and 15 and 10 and 2. So we should just do it July 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd work.
2 days isn't going to make a difference anyway, to be honest. I know a town meeting can be like 7 days, but no, we have to do between 10 and 15.
Well, 10 days would be the 25th.
Yeah, but I'd have to send out the notice to the paper. They'd have to accept it. That takes a day sometimes. Yeah, so
To the 26th.
just July 1st.
I can't call an emergency meeting? and-
No, no,
I'm trying.
no, July 1st. I'm sure that's fine.
So we have
Yeah.
two public hearings on July 1st.
That's okay.
I'd make a motion to set the public hearing for our next regularly scheduled meeting on July 1st.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes unanimous. Okay,
Just now, one more motion, I think.
just one more, yep.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. Joe will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion unanimous, Sarah. Yeah, oh yeah, we gotta do the time. 5:23.